This is David Stark from Watcher Pass. Today I'm talking to Julianna Guill from Joe Pickett, which is coming to Spectrum and Spectrum On Demand on December 6, 2021. We're going to talk to them in just a second, but first let's check out the trailer. And while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. Also meant a lot. Thank you.
I was 12 when I decided this is what I want to do. And here I am.
Joe, I know how dangerous your job is. You have got to promise to be careful.
That's my middle name. Is that right?
Can I trust you to look for the truth?
Those are the guys you're looking for. And they're dangerous.
This job will break you unless you learn how to bend.
I can be pretty stubborn. I gotta finish this thing.
Hi, Julianna. Thanks so much for joining me. This is Julianna Guill, who plays Marybeth Pickett in Joe Pickett, which comes out December 6, 2021. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. What an honor. I'm sorry we just lost Mr. Dorman himself, who has been doing these interviews. He had to run.
It happens, but I was excited to talk to you, so this is perfect.
Well, thanks.
And I love the Christmas tree. I mean, I guess the day after Thanksgiving, you can set it all up. It looks like you were right on it.
Well, as I said earlier to someone who commented on that, I just want to be clear. This was an activity for the kids because we needed an activity. And, it's kind of a kill two birds with one stone situation.
That's always a good excuse. I like that.
I mean, I love it. I feel like we're really on top of it here this year on a timely fashion that is not typical for me personally.
We'll just go with it. To say no, I'm always right there. Day after Thanksgiving, clean up and then get the Christmas tree out. We go and cut it down, bring it back from the.
Yeah, we cut it down. We brought it.
So I guess the show is Joe Pickett. It's based on this best-selling book. How did you get involved? Did you know about this series before, or was this kind of something that came across your desk and you liked the characters and you just wanted to get away in the mountains and see the wilderness?
Well, for me, actually, it was a pretty typical audition process. The project came my way. I made an audition tape while my 3-year-old watched Doc McStuffins and my newborn baby napped. And after I sent in the tape, the Dowdle brothers, who are just the most wonderful humans and creators, contacted me and said, "Hey, we love your tape, but can you make a tape where we can actually hear you?" Because I guess I was whispering, trying not to wake my baby up. So I made another tape in my bathroom hallway. And ultimately that led to this role of a lifetime, frankly. It's been a truly special experience for me.
I love that is such a kind of like COVID thing that everyone can relate to. I mean, I was on calls all the time with like my kids like stomping up above me and just trying to like pretend like nothing was happening.
I know. I mean, the stuff that happens on the other side is mind-blowing, what you're able to focus through.
But you were just a professional and you focused, with all this craziness around you. And so your character plays, kind of a wilderness person. I mean, she doesn't like get deep into the wilderness yet, but she lives out there. How did you prepare for this? Do you have experience living out in kind of the mountains, or was this just a fun, fresh, new experience for you?
I grew up in North Carolina.
Okay.
Not in rural North Carolina, but North Carolina cities are generally speaking pretty small. I grew up in Winston-Salem. It's not a huge town. It is right all around us is the country if you just travel about 10 or 15 minutes. So I feel like I have a deep connection to it, and it wasn't a huge departure for me to feel in that landscape and in that environment. And in fact, very fun to go back to those country roots in a way.
Yeah, definitely. I love the North Carolina synergy. I mean, you and Sharon Lawrence, who plays your mother,
yes!
is perfect.
So for those listening who don't know, Sharon Lawrence, who plays my mother in the show, she and I are both from North Carolina, and my mother's best friend went to high school with Sharon, which is all something we ultimately put together a couple weeks into working. But it was such a joy and felt very right. I mean, Sharon and I, it was love at first sight and a real perfect mother-daughter match.
Yeah, that is so random and so awesome. She also mentioned that you both, I think the script called for maybe the books call for a raven-haired person, but you both kind of looked similar enough and apparently have similar enough backgrounds, like, we'll just stay how we are because everything kind of looks
Absolutely.
correct.
I mean, Sharon is so believable. We are so believable as mother daughter. It just doesn't you don't get that often. And also, I mean, Sharon Lawrence is a true masterclass in a co-star. So it's going to work every day, really getting to watch somebody in their element in a way that is extremely rare. So I was very fortunate.
Yeah, no, it sounds awesome. It sounds like this was also just kind of like a family type environment. I mean, you play a family in this film, but then it sounds like the whole filming was a family affair. What was it like kind of with your co-stars and the you know, the rest of the cast? I mean, how was that experience? Sounds like it was great.
As you know, these are different times than we're used to. And even though we're in a flow with it and we have sort of a handle on how things are operating in COVID, it was we were very, very lucky to be a part of this group of people that came up to Calgary. We didn't have anybody else. It wasn't Vancouver where, you know, there are tons and tons of productions going on. It was Calgary and it was a very different situation. So really what we had was each other. And we tended to see each other almost every weekend to plan something with everybody's kids, and everyone was included and invited. And that really is a top-down thing from the Dowdles, and it's the kind of environment they facilitate because it's the kind of people that they are, and that goes not just in a social aspect but really in terms of their openness to collaboration throughout the shooting process, and just how welcoming and excited they are to be there creating this thing together. We just had a great time.
I mean, it's awesome. It sounds like it was almost like a wilderness camp that you also got to work at, right?
It was. And then, I mean, you know, I had never met Michael Dorman before getting up to Calgary. It was actually a pretty unique experience in that we didn't have a chemistry read together or anything like that. And neither of us knew what we were getting into with the other. But of course, Michael's reputation, it precedes him in that I cannot tell you the amount of messages I got telling me what an amazing person Michael Dorman is, and man, is it true, and what a talented actor, and what a just star of a human to get to work alongside. I was really lucky.
That is awesome. I mean, I guess that's just kind of the reality you live in. You can't necessarily have a chemistry read before because you can't meet, right? Like
that's right.
And one thing I also love about your character is, you know, in kind of what I would think is the traditional type of story, your character would be like the mother who is watching the house and kind of, you know, taking care of the family and doing an important role. But what I love about your character is you're also a former lawyer, and you kind of really dig in and take part in this town and kind of assert yourself as well. Was that something that appealed to you about this role? Because you're a much stronger person than I originally kind of thought when I was watching this.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the more unique elements of this particular series is, you know, this family is dropped into this rural Wyoming town that is going through a lot of socio and political change and frankly on the verge of economic collapse. And Marybeth has been championing her husband in this dream of his to be a game warden for a long time. And throughout that process, she has set aside her own career, which of course many, many, many women do, to raise their children. And it is an extremely relatable part of life. And for Marybeth, this larger conspiracy, this murder on their doorstep, is at a very interestingly opportune time for her to say, wait a second, I could sit here and batten down the hatches and protect this family by doing the role I have been doing the last 10 years, or I can step outside of that and say, this might be an opportunity for me to reclaim part of this identity. And even though it carries its own risk, it puts up a more powerful force field around my family than if I were to just stay in the place where I've been comfortable the last decade. So it's a challenging moment for her, but ultimately one she's not going to let pass by.
Yeah, no, and it's protecting the family in another way, because she starts to kind of make inroads in the town, and then also you want to know who did this, right? Who committed this crime. So I love that.
Absolutely,
that
it involves her family. It involves her, so she's involved.
Definitely. And so the series starts December 6th, 2021 on Spectrum and Spectrum On Demand. People can watch that after they kind of devour the Joe Pickett series. I think it's 10 episodes long. What else can they look for you? Do you have other things coming up? I've mentioned season 2 to a bunch of people. Everyone's kind of been, fingers crossed it'll happen.
Oh my gosh, we're very fingers crossed on that. Honestly, Joe Pickett was the thing for me this year, and I couldn't be happier about that. So devour these episodes, and then perhaps watch them again. And,
there you go.
And may we absolutely get a second season. I know I speak for all of us. I speak for Michael when I say how excited we would be to do that. So I hope everyone tunes in and makes that a reality.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching. Joe Pickett comes to Spectrum and Spectrum On Demand on December 6th, 2021. So you can check it out then. If you liked this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.